I'm finally here. Sorry, I'm a little late. I'm always on island time. Okay, all right. I just walked in the door, so everybody's very excited that I'm home. So I'm really excited for today's topic because I love reality checks, because they're important, and it's important for you guys to, as you're growing your teams and as you're growing your social media, to remember that it's not about how amazing you are and how amazing your hair is and how amazing your makeup is and all that stuff, or how big your house is or how fancy your car is. It's about the activities that you do. So let me give people a couple minutes to jump on. Let me write down a few notes really quick just so that I stay on topic. Oh, trying some new dairy and soy-free yogurt today. Daya is making like vegan yogurt now, and it doesn't have a lot of weird chemicals, or has some weird, it's not like, wouldn't consider like a whole food, but being vegetarian and getting results is not easy. Okay, so let me just finish this while people log on. No ING. Hey babe, when do you think we started the blog? What? The blog? So like a year and a half ago? Yeah. 2 years? Okay, so let's start. So one of the things that I wanted to try to convey to you and to pay forward to you is the service that Barbie did for me, which was just being herself. Sorry, he's making our Shakeologies. Was just being Barbie and not being like one of those, like the one thing that I loved about Barbie, and Barbie's not my sponsor, Barbie's my upline coach, but one of the things that I loved about her the most, and I still love about her, she's gotten a little fancier now. She's hired people who do graphics and stuff for her and stuff, but one of the best things that she ever did for me as a new coach was that she didn't do all this fancy shit. So she didn't have all these like fancy webinars with all this fancy training and with all these fancy graphics that she made on Canva, and she would curse on her team calls, and she was just like whatever with everything, and just kind of like figure it out for yourself, you know, and just like very just like, you know, she's not the same Barbie she is today. She was very different back then. This is like pre-Tony Robbins, pre-Siggy. But I still try to coach my team and be the leader that Barbie was when I first signed up, because I feel like that was perfect for me at the time, because like I said in yesterday's call, and like I said I was going to talk about today, is that a lot of what you guys need to start doing is can be duplicated. So when I see all these teams or these leaders and they have all these fancy graphics and there's all this fancy stuff, I'm like, yeah, that's really great, you know, and that's, you know, like it makes you look good, and you know, makes you look like you got your shit together and that you're like super awesome. But does that look, the questions I think you have to ask yourself is, does that look too, I want to say like overwhelming? I don't like the word overwhelming, but you kind of got to ask yourself, like, is all of this that I do too much for a coach to do? So a lot of what I try to do is just keep it simple, stupid. So let's talk about keep it simple, stupid, KISS. I live by keep it simple, stupid, because it's stupid to try to do so much and be so much to your teams to the point where they don't ever feel like they can live up to that expectation. You know, I want my team to be able to be like, okay, everything that Amy does is just like, is very basic. Like, you will probably never jump on a team call and I'm like super well prepared, and you will never probably jump on a team call and I have like these pretty graphics with all this pretty training ready to go, because I don't really think that that kind of stuff is what makes a team and what makes a team successful. I think what makes a team successful is the behaviors that it takes to actually grow a team. And I think that's what you really need to focus on the most, and why that's what I hope you guys are really focusing on with this push group, is the behaviors that it takes to actually grow your business and to grow your teams. So one of the best things that I duplicated from Barbie that I want to pay forward to you is the first thing was my YouTube. So if you go to my YouTube, a lot of my videos I've just started using cover photos on my YouTubes. But I remember when I was a new coach, I needed to start being consistent, and I needed to start growing my social media. And doing all these pretty graphics and pretty things and editing videos. And mind you, I went to school for audio production. I went to school for video production. I know how to edit and record sound effects and do movies and cinematography and photography. Like, that's what I went to school for. And I didn't use very many of those skills with this business because they're too time consuming, and they were too time consuming for me when I was a new coach. To sit there and to film like this whole thing and to edit it and put it up it just took way too much time, and I didn't have that kind of time to create all that like amazing graphics and content. And even today, like as a full-time coach, 6 years in the business, you know, I still have all those skill sets, and I do use some of them, like my branding, my pictures. A lot of my stuff is very beautiful on my social media because I've been doing photography since I was like in 10th grade. But that's still not really all the stuff that builds my business. What builds the business is the inviting, the following up, spending time in my inbox. I will literally sit here on this pillow for hours and hours and hours answering messages and emails, not creating this amazing training videos and these amazing graphics and these amazing content. It's not about content. And if you watch Gary Vee, then you know it's not about content. It's about documentation. If you're sitting here and you're like, I need to create all this and I need to create all that, and then those are just things that are actually holding you back, that is probably put in place by your fear and you're wanting like a subconscious limiting belief that you need to like have all this stuff to be successful. And that's what's going to keep you not being successful, because what builds a successful coach is not all the stuff, it's not all the glitz and the glamour. It's the behaviors, the work, the elbow grease that they put into building the business, the sitting behind their computer for hours and hours and hours a week, inviting, following up contacts, inviting, following up contacts. It is not sexy. And you will hear that over and over again from top coaches, that the life that we get to live because of the business, that's the sexy part. The actual work that goes into business, it's hard, it's not sexy, and most people won't do it. So the people that you do see quitting and justifying the fact that they're quitting is because they simply are fucking lazy. Plain and simple. They're lazy. More people are lazy than are willing to do the work. So you have to ask yourself, am I willing to do the work that most people are not willing to do to live the life that most people are never going to live? Am I going to be the 2% or am I going to be the 98%? That is a decision that you have to make. And so when you're sitting there at your desk making these invites and your back is hurting and you just want to, you can go and you can jump into a downward dog and then you can come back and sit on your desk and you can do those invites, because that is the stuff that builds this business. Everybody's always like, what's the secret sauce? What's the secret? They see, like, they'll go and they'll look at our social media and they'll look at my beach picture and they'll be like, oh, I wish I could live that life. But the secret is that was a break that I took from working my business for 10 hours. I took a break from my business, went to the beach, went for a swim, took a couple photos, made out with my husband, walked on the beach, and then came back and got back to work. And that's when I took those pictures. It wasn't like I wasn't at the beach like all day, just like, oh, life is so good, I can just relax now. Like, no, that is just like a picture that I took while I was at the beach taking a break from work, because that is the life that I've designed. I designed a life that I can live on an island in the Caribbean and work from home and take a break and go swim in the warm Caribbean Ocean at sunset if I want. That is what I've designed. That is my dream reality. The alternate reality would be living in Portland, waiting tables, in debt up to my ears, probably being forced to live in an apartment because the prices in Portland rose a lot in the last 5 years, something that I did not know was going to happen and that we were not prepared for. So everybody that I know who still has the same kind of jobs that they had living in Oregon 5 years ago, they're all splitting houses and having roommates into their 30s, you know? So that is the alternate reality that I could be living, instead of designing a dream life for myself where I get to travel every single month and to live in a beautiful home, and to be talking about buying an investment home and possibly living in, you know, wherever they go international part-time, splitting our time 50-50. These conversations, you know, I was on the phone with one of my, a girl on my downline who just went 8-star today, and she went elite her first year last year. And we're on the phone talking about, like, okay, so like I try to take my elite coaches on all expenses paid, like luxury vacation every year, and the last 2 years they've declined because they're so busy with their travel schedule, they don't have the extra time to take the vacation. That is like, that gives me goosebumps that is like their reality now, that since they are so successful as with Beachbody, that their life involves so much travel that they can't take on another trip that I want to give them. So I was on the phone with one of the elite coaches on my team, and I was like, okay, well, at leadership, let's all come in early and do a spa day, and I'll pay for everything. We'll do a spa day, we'll go to a show, and then we'll go to leadership, and it's going to be her first leadership, and then my other elite coach's third or fourth leadership. And like, that's a reality. Those are the conversations we're having. I remember at one point she's like, it's so funny, because then we started talking about, like, oh, how we wanted all the husbands I wanted to rent a charter boat, a fishing boat at the Success Club trip for all the husbands, so they can all go on a fishing boat together and bond, and that, you know, and like, these are the conversations that we have. We're not stressing about money. We're not complaining about our relationships like the 98% does. We're not complaining about our financial situation, we're not complaining at all. Like, all we do is talk about how we can fit in more time with each other and how we can make it work, and just like, that's what Beachbody has afforded us. That is the lifestyle that it affords us, because we're willing to do the work to do that. So I also wanted to remind you guys that, like, you know, when you look at somebody who's been in the business as long as I am, you look at my Instagram, you look at my YouTube, you look at all that stuff, you know, like I was saying before, one of the best things that Barbie ever did for me was that she kept it so raw and so simple and so ghetto that I knew that, okay, this chick is making, you know, I think at the time when I signed up, I think Barbie was making around $7,000 a week. Don't quote me on that. I'm just going to throw that number out there, because what she's making now is completely none of anybody's business, and it's blow your minds, and I'm not even going to tell you. But let's just say 6 years ago, that's how much she was making. You can imagine how much she's making now. And I just remember, like, thinking, like, oh my God, this lady makes so much money, and her YouTube is so ghetto. If she can be successful at this, I can too. And so I just started making these, like, really random videos where I just talked. I actually shared one on my personal Facebook today. If you want to go look at it, I shared it from 6 years ago when I fired my boss, and I made a video just walking from work to BART to get on the BART to commute back to Berkeley after waiting, you know, after work. And it's one of my favorite videos of all times, and it comes back every single year and reminds me, like, how amazing that feeling was to, like, walk out of work and just be like, I just gave my boss the finger and I'm never going back. And it's one of my favorite videos, and I share it every year, and it's not fancy, and it's just me and being real and raw. And I think sometimes, like, you know, I stumbled upon another coach's Instagram or YouTube the other day who's, like, starting to do vlogs, and it was so bizarre because it's all edited, and she's, like, talking about makeup, and she's like talking about her makeup routine, and it's all, like, super like a vlogger. And it made me uncomfortable, because I was like, first of all, I know this person, and that's not her personality, and it was just so fake and just so, like, you know, for YouTube. And I was like, not only is that not who she is, but it's obviously something that she's doing because that's what she thinks she needs to do to be successful. And your team is going to see that, and they're going to think, well, if my upline coach and my coach is successful making videos like talking about makeup and beauty, I mean, if that's one thing, if that's your brand and that's what you're into, like, you know, like, if that's something that is a big part of your brand, like you're a makeup artist, like, go for it, because that's naturally good, that's naturally part of your life. Like me, I tried to do a makeup video once and I looked like a fucking clown. Like, I looked so weird and my face looked so weird. I don't wear makeup. Right now, I'm wearing sunscreen. I'm wearing a little bit of Jane Iredale, like, glow foundation under my eyes, just a little bit. And a little bit of, like, face powder just to get rid of the sheen that I constantly have because it's so hot here. And that's it. And I don't know how to put on makeup. I only use makeup for like Beachbody events, and usually, and like at Summit, I had to hire somebody. And so picture me like trying to make like a vlog about makeup, and it was just terrible. And I watched it and I was like, this is so stupid, and I didn't do it. But I will talk about food. Like for me, like I would much rather go and get like a food haul from the farmer's market and talk about food and where I'm eating and where it's from. That to me is natural. That's something that naturally would come to me. That's why I have so many food hauls on my YouTube and so much on my social media, because I'm fucking obsessed with shopping for food and eating food, and I love food, and food's like my world. And so what you need to understand is that to start making content, you just need to document. You just need to document things that you are naturally good at, that you naturally like to talk about. If you are really passionate about the foods that you feed your kids, that's the kind of stuff you should be talking about. If you take time and energy to do something, you're really good at organizing, or you're really good at doing hair, or you're really good at doing makeup, or you're really good at having pets, I don't know. That's the stuff that you should be talking about, not the stuff that you think you need to be talking about to be successful. Another thing I'm going to share with you guys, I was talking to that girl today who's on my team, and she's went 8-star in 1 year, elite in her first year, and made 6 figures in her first year, all on a warm market from her town that she lives in, a small town in South Carolina. And so she was talking to me because she's like, I maxed out my town, now I need to start growing my social media. And I was like, really? Your social media is so simple. Just keep it simple, stupid. Find 3 things and just duplicate those 3 things every single day. I mean, if you look at my Instagram, it's not that amazing. I mean, it's really like a workout video and a picture, like a workout video, a clip, or both, in a pick play posting or whatever. A picture of me like in my element, outside, usually eating something or drinking something, somewhere in Puerto Rico or traveling somewhere, a pretty photo. And then maybe a food photo or another photo of me like having just worked out, or a selfie. Like, it's really not that authentic, it's just since it's me, it looks authentic because it's not like anybody else, because I'm doing it how I want to do it, not how I think I need to do it to look like somebody who knows how they're doing Instagram. You know what I'm saying? So I also want to remind you guys that like I grew my business mostly on Facebook for my first year. I didn't have a large following. I didn't have any friends. I was ex-alcoholic, drug addict, had never done any, actually I'm an alcoholic. It's a disease. You can't just want to caveat this because it's such a pet peeve when somebody says I used to be an alcoholic. You're born an alcoholic and you're always an alcoholic. So anyway, I'm an alcoholic. I was, a drug addict. I never did sports. I did sports when I was little, but I didn't have a background in health and fitness and business. And why would I think that anybody in their right mind would ever want to join me on this? And it's because I believed in Beachbody, and I was like, well, if I can do it, anybody can do it. And that's just kind of like how I went off of my belief system. Like my first year was just like tapping into all the 300 friends I did have on Facebook, and their friends and their friends, and building my like page from scratch. And then after 11 months of that, and just talking to people within 3 feet of me, the 3-foot rule, remember I told you guys to do that? I went full time after 11 months. And then I went on the Success Club trip, and on the Success Club trip is where I learned about Instagram. Janelle Summers had already been rocking Instagram for a while now, and she did a training on Instagram, and that's when everybody got on Instagram. Hold on a second, I gotta move the fan towards me, I'm dying. Woo! It's hot today. Okay. Oh my God. So hot today. I usually have the doors open, but my cat's not allowed to go outside anymore, so like I can't even have the doors open. Okay, go away. And so I didn't even have an Instagram until I was already a full-time coach. So I wanted to say that because I wanted to remind you guys, it's not about like how many followers you have on Instagram or how many followers you have on Facebook. It's not about any of that. That will help. Like I will say, that I have a lot more people coming through my pipeline because of my following, but that's not what got me into be a full-time coach. That's not what got me to start building my business and my team. What got me to start building my business and my team was the work that I was doing and the people I was talking to on a daily basis. When I was out and about, when I was at the grocery store, when I was at school, when I was on the train, when I was commuting, I wasn't on my phone like avoiding people. I was talking to people as much as I could and being that person who was super interested in others. And for those of you who like follow my blog or go to my blog or whatever, or you see Melanie Mitro, who's like a blogger, I didn't have a blog until 2.5 years, till 2 years ago, and that's what Kevin runs my blog. So like it wasn't something that I could ever take on. I could never have the time to do a blog. The only reason why I have a blog is because my sister said, you need a blog, pay me, I'll do it for you. I hired her to start the blog. She started the blog and then she fired me because I'm a terrible person to work with, because I do not function well on the schedule. I don't like being told where to go and what to do, and she's very organized. She's an emerald personality and I'm a sapphire, so we butt heads. So anyway, we don't work together anymore. My blog went abandoned for a while, and then Kevin started running my blog for me. And that's where all my content comes from, is from Kevin. Kevin's my blog, my content writer. He writes all my content. I do not touch my blog. That's not mine. My blog is Kevin's. He runs my entire blog. If it was up to me, there would be no blog, because that's not what builds my business. What builds my business is going and finding people on Instagram, finding emails, collecting emails, talking to people, inviting, following up. The actions that build the business are those actions. It's not a blog. It's not your Instagram. It's not your YouTube, how many followers you have, how amazing your videos look, your editing, your music, whatever. All of that is just excuses that you're going to make and that are going to keep you from actually building the business. So just remember, at the end of the day, it's going to be those things that you don't want to do, like inviting and following up and creating lists and keeping and organizing your lists and making people your priority. It's those things that are not fun that you need to do more of to build the business. I do, posts on my social media every single day, and I wanted to talk really quick about my non-negotiables, and then I'm going to jump off. So my non-negotiables, no matter what, even when I am traveling, I really try to make sure that my emails do not go more than 24 hours without being answered, which I fail at a lot. My Facebook messages go unread most of the time because I'm not good with Facebook messaging. I do mostly through email. If you Facebook message me, you probably won't get a response for a couple days, if ever. Even prospects, like I don't have time for Facebook. I'm just so behind on everything else. Like I cannot get stuck on the Facebook messaging hole. But the things that I make time for are doing invites, creating more people to come through my pipeline, more leads. It's lead generation. I spend most of my time doing lead generation, doing posts on my social media. Contact me, fill out this form, post your email below, going through my messages, following up with people, messaging people. That is what I spend most of my time doing. And even when I'm traveling, I am generating leads while I'm traveling through my social media, through my marketing, through I have an assistant. So one thing that Kevin really wanted me to tell you guys today is that you can't wait to hire an assistant. The biggest mistake I made was waiting too long to hire an assistant. You need to hire an assistant way before you need an assistant, because your assistant needs to be doing all that stuff, all that building, creating graphics, adding people to your team page, giving them the welcome emails, getting them the training. All of those activities that are not actively building your business, they need to be delegated. The only thing I do not delegate is my social media, because that's what I run and it's mine, it's my personality. And so when I see top coaches hire people to run their Instagrams, I'm just like, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Because your social media needs to be you. And not everything can be delegated. Only the things that you don't have to do need to be delegated, like graphics and recognition and stuff like that. But what you need to always do is you need to be the one that's in control of your pipeline, of your leads. I will say that we have 2 MailChimp newsletters that go out every single week. We have 2 new blog posts that go out every single week. I post on my social media 3 to 5 times a day, and I usually sit here on my ass answering emails, answering questions, and dealing with customer service for a bulk of my day, and then also my team doing calls, doing team calls, Zoom calls, one-on-one calls, calls. Like, you know, and all of that shit is tiring and I don't enjoy a lot of it because it's draining and it makes me tired, but it's a job. This is my job. Like it's fun and it's rewarding and it gives me like the most incredible life ever. But at the end of the day, it's a fucking job. You know, it's not always going to be rainbows and sunshines and amazing, and you're not always going to love it, but it doesn't matter. You have to do it. It's just like you will be so tired and you'll be sitting there answering emails and getting these stupid questions that like your coaches and your customers can go and find for themselves, and they're literally sit there and waste your time with questions and things that they can go find for themselves, and you would rather go be living your life, and instead you're getting bombarded with all of this shit. And that is part of the business. It's just like dealing with stuff that you don't want to deal with and that is going to drive you crazy, but you're going to do it anyway because this is your fucking job, you know? And so all I know is that my job besides this would be waiting tables or working at a health food store or, you know, working behind a computer at, you know, for working for like a movie or something. I don't even know what I'd be doing. I have no idea what I'd be doing if I wasn't doing this. Who knows where life would have taken me. But all I know is I'd be making less money. I'd have less of a life. I would not look the way I look, that's for damn sure. I would not be heavily tattooed. I would not travel every single month. I would not travel 5-star luxury the whole way. I would not eat the way I eat. I would not have anything I have today. I would just have a job. You know, so you have to decide, you know, is the work that you're doing for this, is the life that you want to live, is it worth it for you to be able to live a life that most people don't live? Because at the end of the day, we all have to work. So you have to decide, what kind of a life do you want to provide for your family? What kind of a legacy do you want to leave to your kids? I know that the more and more I think about having kids, and the more it fucking freaks me out, because I don't really want to do it, but I'm going to do it anyway, in a couple years probably. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, damn, my kids are going to be set. You know, they're going to be set. And you know, my family is taken care of. You know, I'm going to the Keys next week and I get to spoil my mom for my birthday. You know, like she doesn't have to pay for anything and I don't want her to pay for anything. And that's just like things that I get, couple little things that I get to do and I get to know and I get to have the peace of mind because I've built the business. You know, it's like if I decide in 5 years that I don't want to work full time anymore, like I think Lindsay Matway is a perfect example. Like she busted her ass for over 100 hours a week for like the first 5 years of her business. And now she has a baby, and she has taken a back seat I'm not going to say a back seat to her business because she still works really hard, but top 10 isn't important to her. Pushing for like all the things isn't important to her anymore because she already did that. You know, she can already cross it off her list. And now she makes incredible money, has an incredible lifestyle, and she gets to enjoy it. You know, she gets to be like, you know what? I don't really want to work right now. I'm going to go spend time with my new baby because I worked hard in the beginning to be able to have what I have today. You know? And for the most part, in any other job, you're just going to work hard till you die. You're going to pay bills till you die. You know, like you don't get the lifestyle that this provides. Like you just don't. And I know people will say that they do, and they'll say like, oh, you know, Amy thinks that Beachbody's the only way, and I've seen coaches even on my team be like, you know, like Amy thinks that, you know, having a job is for lame-os, and Amy thinks having a job is this, and Amy thinks having a job is that. No, this is a job. This is a very, very hard job. I just think this is the best work that you'll ever do because you're changing lives. It's super fulfilling. It gives you a life that you can never imagine. A lot of these people, these naysayers are going to be like, you know, you think Beachbody's the best and that blah, 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 blah. I have people justify what they do for a living all the time on my social media because I think this is the best. But you know what? I think this is the best because this is what I've chosen to do with my life. I'm passionate about it. I believe that everybody should do this. Do I believe everybody can do this? No, but I believe everybody should do it and should at least try to do it, you know? And you know what? That's just what I think. And that's my 2% mentality. That's why I live like the 2%. I don't live like the 98%. The 98% is going to be like, you know, like I I like my job and I like having this, and there's other ways to be happy besides Beachbody. And yeah, the 98% is gonna say that, but you know what? The 2% is gonna work for living the life that they wanna live and live like nobody else lives, while the 98% talk shit about them. That's just how it goes. So anytime you see somebody like, you know, trying to drag you down or to talk down about you, your leadership, your business, the way you do things, it's because they have a 2% mentality, and they're going to justify that by you know, by whatever. So you've just got to keep your eye on the prize and just know that, like, this business it's got to be duplicatable. You've got to know where you're going and not let anybody get in your way. And you have to know that it's the behaviors that are going to build a business, not all the shiny objects, okay? So if you find yourself wasting a lot of time with the shiny objects like blogging and all that kind of stuff, and not actually doing the behaviors that it takes to actually bring the people in, then you're going to find that you're not going to have a business that you think that you've worked so hard for, when in all actuality you wasted a lot of time doing a lot of nothing instead of actually building the business. So that's it for me today. I have a Shakeology that's like getting congealed here, and a yogurt that's getting warm. So a dairy-free vegan yogurt, of course. And I got to eat it, and I think that was enough for today, don't you think? I washed my hair. When I wash my hair, I'm like, I get feisty. No, but I'm also like really premenstrual right now, and I probably should not even be on the internet, but since it's my week, you guys just got to deal with that. The extra fieriness that comes with my lady time. I have actually lost coaches on my team. I've lost customers and I've lost followers from my PMSing before. It's like, it's serious. Like, I just want to fight everybody. So I hope that out of all of that, you got something that's helpful. And I'm going to go stuff my face now because I have another workout to do in a little bit. And just hope you guys are doing great on your doubles. I actually, so far today, I did max out strength. 10 minutes ab chisel. I did 30 minutes of yoga, and then I'm gonna go do total body chisel in a little bit. And so I hope that you took my doubles challenge and that you are kicking butt and taking names. I also wanted to share that I lost 4 inches in the last 30 days. And I've been doing doubles now for 18 days. So 2.5 weeks of that 30 days has been doing doubles, and I've done it completely vegetarian. I've lost 4 inches. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. So in case you need a little extra motivation for Punta Cana, in the last 30 days, I've lost 4 inches, and that's just off of my waist, my hips, and my thighs. I've lost a 1/2 inch in both my thighs, 1.5 inches in my waist, and 1.5 inches in my hips. So I'm making progress, and I just want you guys to know that, you know, you have nothing but progress to make in all areas of your life, and Beachbody is going to be the avenue. So I hope that you see it, you believe it, and you never quit until you make it happen. Bye.